Pinnow, and I live in Baker, Montana. We are in the southeastern part of the state of Montana. And no, we're not where there's mountains. We are, you can see for 30 miles out my barn door. So we don't have the pine trees, we don't have the mountains, but we do have the beautiful gumbo flowers all the way from May until September. So there is beauty in our flatlands too in the state of Montana. I really wish you would come and visit our little town. And if you are in our town of Baker, Montana, you really need to visit our museum. In the museum, we have the Steer of Montana. And one of our local Montana residents created a cookbook, and it's called the 406 Table. And in this cookbook, she created a recipe that has to do with, we found the beef Steer Montana. So today, we are going to show you how to make the Steer Montana sliders. So in order to make these, they're really quite easy, and even children could make them. You need crescent rolls, really thinly sliced roast beef, Swiss or provolone cheese, and then you need some basil to go on top. And I'm going to show you how to make these today. First of all, I am going to open my crescent rolls, and that's saying these rolls work. For you people, if you ever have these work for you, please come tell me how to do it an easy way, without jumping, without exploding, and finding the right spot to poke. See, I'm already having troubles. There we go. And then you just twist them away. This is where the kids really like to help, is to twist your rolls away. So then you just take and you unroll them, and you this just takes and lays your triangles out on your pan. I should have had these in the refrigerator. So here's a hint. Do not take them out of the refrigerator until right before you need them, because then they are not as sticky and they will keep their form better if you keep them colder. So I'm just going to lay them out and alternating your wide ends with your narrow ends. Boy. Note to self, make sure they're cold. And putting them on my cookie sheet. You are supposed to lightly spray your cookie sheet. Whoever invented these crescent rolls in a roll just really knew what they were doing, because you can use them with so many different recipes. And I think this is just a neat way to do them. So we're going to take our beef, and I have already cut the beef. So the beef comes shaped like this, and I cut it to fit the shape of the crescent roll so as it does not lip over so much. Now it says to put just one slice on there, but if you want a little bit more than that, you are sure welcome to put more on there. And I think I'm going to layer it. I'm going to do a slice of beef and then put the cheese and then a slice of beef in, because you really can never have too much beef. It's just really good and wholesome. And I'm going to cut these too, because I don't want them coming over. And we're just going to go like this, because then if you get too much cheese on there during the baking, it's all going to come out on the sides of your sandwich, and you will lose a lot of the good stuff. And don't let any go to waste. Use these little pieces also. So then I'm just going to re-slice, restack. So now I have my second layer of beef on, and then it says basil. Well, I couldn't find any fresh basil. So this little dehydrated stuff also works. And the flavor of the beef, when the beef gets warm, it'll make the flavor of the basil come out. Just don't put on a whole lot, as you will have a really strong taste if you're using dehydrated. So as the instructions say, go and roll your crescents like this, so they look like that. Just roll them all. And there is no wrong way to roll a crescent, you guys. Finishing rolling my crescents up here. And that one looks like it needs help, but it'll be okay. Just roll, roll. And then while these are baking, I will show you a neat sauce that they said. So we're going to put them in a 350 oven for 13 minutes. To make a buttermilk dressing, which is already in this recipe book too. And it's just really easy. You just take your basic, your mayos, your buttermilk, and your, oh boy, I have not poured buttermilk for a long time. That is some rich stuff. Pour some in there, and then you mix your mayo in there to make your buttermilk dressing. And I know we just go and buy the bottle all the time, but this is really way better than the bottle. So we just whip that up. I'm trying to be neat, guys. Usually, see, there I splattered. I knew I would. Just grab a little whisk here and go. They are encouraging us to use our own buttermilk horseradish dressing. And in this buttermilk dressing, we have 3 full grinds. So what is 3 full grinds? To me, it must be 1/4 teaspoon. So 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of thyme leaves, and in Baker, Montana, everything's dehydrated. We don't have fresh stuff. So that is why we are using this. And then I'm just going to mix that together. And you can see how that's already thickening. That looks really good. So then to make your horseradish dressing, and I would always make that ahead of time. Do not make it right before you are eating, because that would not be a good experience. You would not get the full flavor of everything that you want. So I'm going to measure out a cup. Of the dressing. And then I will add the horseradish. And then it is 2 tablespoons of raw horseradish. So with raw horseradish, that is twice as strong too. So I'm only going to put a tablespoon in and then see what we like for flavor. Some people love a lot of horseradish and some people just don't. I can already smell it. It's very good. So we're going to let that sit aside for a moment. And then it also says to make a gravy au juice to serve with it. So beforehand, I had just gotten a package, and it calls just to make this kind of au juice, which you mix the juice with 2 cups of water, and then you heat it, and then you have your au juice. This is a very easy au juice. And also, if you are ever cooking a roast, this is wonderful to mix and pour over your roast too, for a seasoning of your roast, of your beef roast. So this is what your sliders look like when they come out of the oven. I think they're quite good. We did not lose too much cheese. Well, now, the recipe says to put your slider in a dish and then to pour au juice over it. Now I personally would rather just have my slider on the side and then a little container of au juice. So we will try it both ways. And we will see which way is the better way. I wouldn't put too much au juice. I would just do a little tiny bit as it would soak it up. So there is your crescent roll with the au juice on the side or one on the plate. And then remember to just do a little dab of that to try it with. Just drizzle so you have the full taste of the horseradish and the ranch dressing on it. I think that would be a wonderful dish to make anytime. This recipe and many other recipes about 406 Montana is the 406 Table, written by Karen R. Barbee.